Well, I'm happy to be here again at your service. The subject tonight is why people in the world become fundamentalists. And how does the Baha'i faith looks at fundamentalism, and what are the preventive measures that you can find in the Baha'i writings that can help to do not fall in the trap of fundamentalism. As a psychotherapist, I do not know of one person in the world who can claim that he or she does not have fundamentalist traits. We may not be fundamentalists, but we may have some traits, some characteristics, that if we don't watch it, we can become full-blown fundamentalism. Also, fundamentalism is different from believing in fundamentals. And fundamentals are those principles that are universal. Therefore, there is no such a thing as Baha'i fundamentals, Jewish fundamentals, Persian fundamentals, Arab fundamentals, because then they are not fundamentals. So, it may be distinctive characteristic culturally, religiously, ethnically, but they may not be fundamental. So the question will be, what are the fundamentals? Then we can conclude what is fundamentalism. Whether you believe it or not, the root of fundamentalism is fear. Is fear. Fear of acceptance or lack of acceptance. Fear of being alone. Fear of losing something which is very dear to you. And then because of that fear, you would do everything in your power to preserve it. So you do not care about what means, you just want to reach the end. So your end justifies the means. And this is where the whole world stands. This is why you have religious fundamentalism, you have political fundamentalism, you have cultural fundamentalism, you name it. But what is fundamental? The first and the foremost fundamentals is to accept that we are all human. You may not think of these statements highly, but this is actually the core. We are all human, regardless of our race, our gender, our wealth. We are human. Everything else is subset of that calculus. That is to say, I may be female, male, Persian, Arab, but these are only characteristics. I'm human. When people lose sight of that fundamental, they actually are receptive to become fundamentalists. The fundamental is to be human. Therefore, everything else in the world should be measured based on the value of humanism. Makes sense? Your religion, your belief system, whatever it is, your cultural values, all have to be measured based on whether that helps to be human. So then now question is, what is human? From at least 3,000 years ago, the person such as Socrates, he says you never know what is human unless you know thy own self. He's a student, Aristotle. He says to experience to be human, you have to accept that you need relationship. So, to be human is to have relationship. Please pay attention. Because if you do not have relationship, you develop fear, you develop anxiety, you develop separateness, and as a result, you want to eliminate it, and as a result, you become fundamentalist. I have to do this to get it. So two things became very obvious. One is humanity has to be looked at as a whole. And every element, every member should be looked at as a part of that whole. And humanity is not this person or that person or this group or that group, is always greater than the summation of all these people. That is a fundamental. What does it mean? It means, Aristotle, he said, accept We are at the least a social animal. What does it mean? It means if you get into individual whole, if you will, still you strive for relationship. As a psychotherapist, I work with the people who are afflicted with schizophrenia. They talk to themselves. They have their own world. They have their own reality. It might be virtual reality. It might be alternative reality. And we know it is a disorder. But we at the same time know everybody wants relationship. This is why a patient might be mentally afflicted with a severe disorder, but when you see him, he's touchy. Means relationship is the core for human existence. This is so important, so critical. This is why everybody, whether psychologists, sociologists, religion, they agree the problem of humanity is not to be happy in a relationship. What is relationship? Some people establish relationship because they're lonely. Some people have relationship because they're alone. These are two different things. If you are lonely, nothing can help you. But first to remove that loneliness. Loneliness appears when you lose meaning. When what you do does not satisfy you. The things are so meaningless that even your relationships do not provide sustenance for you. Therefore, you change relationships. We see it in the youths, we see it in the number of divorces that goes up. So then, when you look at fundamentalism, you see that there is a characteristics, one of which is they do not like change. Change is very hard for them. They are used to a status quo. They value tradition. To the point that they become the victim of tradition. They rather to do everything in the world, but not put themselves in a situation to change. But fundamental says everything changes. In fact, there is one absolute, and that is change. Nothing is absolute. Fundamentalist believes in absolutism. The person who upholds fundamentals, he says one of the fundamentals is that I am subject to change. I always change organically, but there are some eternal realities. Do you see how? I give you some examples. Look at the situation in religion. I give you in religion, I give you an example in politics, and I give you an example in your personal life, without interfering in anybody's personal life. If you are a Jew, if you are a Christian, if you are a Baha'i, if you are anything, ask yourself, how did you choose to be that you claim to be? Did you really investigate it? Are you sustainable to the people who critique your belief system? Does a steadfastness means believe in this and nothing can change it? Or fundamentals means I believe in this, but I'm always open to investigate the truth further. And if I find a better perspective of reality, I have no problem to let go of my belief system. Because I'm not my belief system. Please pay attention. I am not my belief system. My belief systems is chosen by me. When you become your belief system, you have tendency to become fundamentalist. Because when your belief system overtakes you, then you become the victim of that belief system. Because then there is no free will. Then you do not question it. But if you choose your belief system, then you can evaluate it. Then you can change it. Do you see that? There is a very tiny line between the person who believes in fundamental and the person who is fundamentalist. Sometimes we even do not know which one we are. So what are the characteristics when a person believes that what he believes is the only way to believe and no other belief system should be tolerated or exist, you're fundamentalist. When you, on the other hand, very steadfast in your belief, but your belief does not create harm for somebody else, and you tolerate the people of different perspectives, you may not believe in them, but you respect them because it is belief of somebody else. Therefore, you are close to fundamentals. Because if you are fundamentalist, means absolutist, that means my way or highway, you become segregated. You become marginalized. You become alone, and then you become lonely. You see, very simple. And then you say, why the people don't love me? See, now you become a victim role. I'm such a good person. While when you believe in fundamentals, in fact, you create a space for the people to relate to you. Because the people want to learn from you. Why? Because you want to learn from them. So, there is a tablet by the wall. This is what it starts. The number of the ways that people see that reality, whatever it is, God, whatever it is according to the number of people who are created. What does that mean to you? See, it's very simple. Very fundamental. This is fundamental. And by the way, this is among his first work that he penned down. It was before 1844. The number of ways that go towards God is according to the number of people who have been created. Wow. This seems to say that your way, his way, might have some validity. So you have to ask Paul, well, but we may have different ways. Bob says that's good. As long as you have a common objective. As long as you have pure intention. He says if your intention, for instance, is to live happily in this world. Who doesn't want to live happily? He says, when you want to live happily, and then your intention to be happy, and you choose a path to create happiness, that's so far so good. Right? See, Bob is our best friend. He says, when does the problem comes in? When the path that Habib chooses might benefit Habib but may harm somebody else. He says, God. What is God? What is God now? The good thing is that you do not say anything, because the moment you say God is this, God is that, you become fundamentalist. Because God is nothing, and God is everything. God is that undefinable that we just need to create a common meaning. But we cannot define God. God is the creator of the world. Well, that's good. This is what you think so. If you are a physicist, you have other view. If you are a psychologist, such as Freud, you have a different view. So we do not define God, but we say, what is the relevance of having this concept in our lives? You see how this works? Fundamentalists, he says, it is there. I don't care about Freud, I don't care about the physicist, I don't care about who's the person who believes in fundamental. He says, you can believe, but what is the relevance? What is the use of that word? That is more important. What does the word God mean? What is your name, Sleepy? Parviz. What is my name? Habib. Habib means friend. This is why I'm user-friendly. So what does the word G-O-D mean, for God's sake? Well, this is just a name. Well, how about somebody called me potato? Do I like that? No, I'm not a potato. I may act like a potato. But even though I act like a potato, I don't like to be called potato. Some people have potato mentality, but they do not like to be called potato. We use this expression to characterize some behaviors. For instance, if I am really sleeping on my couch, 5 hours doing nothing, it says, hey, you are a potato. But I'm not a potato, right? So what is God? What does God mean to you, sir? Why do you call him oh? Why not? Why God? What do you say, my friend? Say something. They only record me, so you are excellent.
Truth, maybe?
See, that is a definition of it. But what does G-O-D means? Because there is an alphabet, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? Why did you choose G-O-D?
It's a word that everyone knows, no matter what language.
Oh, really? That's good. So, all the people in the world, they know A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then they all unitedly, they say G-O-D. You see, fundamentalists want something different. Fundamental, they say, maybe there is a common meaning, but there are different words. This is why Arab calls it Allah. Persian calls it Khuda. English guy calls it God. Fundamentalist just believes in it. person who believes in fundamental, he says actually God is one of the fundamentals. What does the fundamental is? I do not want to give you the history of it, but to make it short and sweet, God stands for universal good. G-O-O-D. American lazy, there are one O. You get God. Relevance, therefore, is that which is good has a source, we call it God. Baha'u'llah, tablet, source of all good, asl kull khair. He does not define him. He says it has a relevance. Whatever is good, I say is godly. So now you have to ask God. Ask Baha'u'llah. Ask yourself. What is good? See, fundamental. Good is that which is universal. Good is that which is not subjective. Although subjectively can be experienced, but itself cannot be subjective. You may have your own God. She may have her own God. But that is only the subjective way to go to that universal good. This is why, I give you an example. Lying is not good, is not God. Why? Because when you lie, thank you. See, that is good. It's God. See, I want to make it simple that you see how the people get confused when they forget the simple things. Lying is bad. Why? Why lying is bad? If lying can get you ahead, why is bad?
It's not good.
Why is not good? Why is not good? If we all agree to lie, is good or bad, Sleepy Parvis? Baha'u'llah. Lying is bad. Because when you lie, intrinsically you are hurting someone. Please pay attention. As you can see, fundamentalist doesn't want to accept reasoning. Fundamentals, they say harmony of religion and science. Shoghi Effendi, when he speaks of the Baha'i faith. Baha'i faith is mystical, practical, scientific in nature. Please pay attention. So lying is bad. Why? Because I feel so guilty. God said, don't lie, I lied. Yeah, really? But there are two gods. A God of idle fancy and vain imagining. Majority of the people of the world, they worship that God. You can make up your own God, can't you? You can justify it, you can dream about it. You can repeat things. After a while you believe it actually. And then maybe you have a mission even to convert him to that. You do not know the most dangerous thing in human nature is self-deception. You can become so in touch with reality that you can create your own universe. And then you become depressed because that universe is only your universe. You see that? So what is God then? Well, I'm a Jew. The God is Jehovah. I'm a Baha'i. God is unknowable essence. These are all good, but tell me, what is God in the realm of man? Buddy, I'm a psychotherapist. I don't need all of these religious definitions. Tell me, if you believe in God, love. Come in, please. If you believe in God, that means everything is good. Therefore, you believe in a source of good. Then why are you sitting in my office as a psychotherapist? Do you see what did I do? I brought God into the realm of action. Because you cannot blame God, can you? He made me to do it. Who is He? Whenever I want to get away from my freedom, I accept responsibility. His easy way is to blame or project. It's a defense mechanism. It has nothing to do with God. Fundamentalists hear things. The person who believes in fundamentals observes things. The person who is fundamentalist goes with the vain imagination. The person who believes in fundamentals, he says, show me evidences. Fundamentals are universal, but they have signs and symbols everywhere. This is why Muhammad says, we have revealed our signs in everything, seen and unseen. Rumi, her best friend, they asked him, please show me where is God. Rumi comes back and says, show me where there is no God. You see that? Fundamentalist is very much narrow-minded. The person who believes in fundamentals, let your vision be bold embracing. His vision is bold embracing. Baha'u'llah, Tablet of the world. The fundamentalist only thinks about me, my family, my country is always that end. The person who is fundamental worshippers, he says, my pain is the pain of everybody in the universe. Do you see that? So now, how does that help with not lying? Lying means hiding. Hiding from whom? From someone. If it is true, why you want to hide it? It may be you may not want to say things altogether to someone. If somebody comes to my office, he says, how am I doing? I say that, well, you have to be hospitalized. That's too much. But somebody has to know that this person has to be hospitalized. So there is a difference between lie and wisdom. Lie is based on self-interest. Wisdom is when you consider the well-being of somebody else. Wisdom is when your self-interest never comes in. This is why it has been said, not everything that the man knoweth can be disclosed. Not everything which is disclosed is timely. Not everything which is disclosed and timely can be handled by the hearer. So they're coming for the dinner time. So please pay attention. Fundamentalist believes in a truth because somebody else says it. The person who believes in fundamentals does his own individual investigation of truth. That's quite a difficult thing. Just tell me, I trust you. Really? Ali, don't trust. Trust is good. Even with God, don't trust only. Trust, but tie your camels. When you experience and exercise your rights, but also you know that your rights is not the ultimate way, because you're connected to the larger cosmic world, you're following fundamentals. Do you see? What did I do so far? So lying is good or bad?
Bad.
So what is bad, what is good? Baha'u'llah. Good is that which benefits all. Kant, Emmanuel. He says, whenever you do something, ask yourself, if everybody in the world at the same time does the same thing as you do, what happens? Gandhi. If you want to see the change, see other side of what Kant says. Ask yourself, do you want to see the change, or you want to be the agent of change? So what you want to see, do it. Fundamentalist is always waiting for somebody else. The person who believes in fundamentals, he says, I do my part. I rely on His mercy. Fundamentals, I have a self-respect, I have a self-dignity, but my dignity also is based on what the source of all good defines for the whole world. Do you see that? Conclusion. My research shows fundamentalism is a psychological disorder. I have shown it in my book. Hopefully 2019 comes up. It's a psychological disorder. I have examined different populations, religious, politics, cultural, commenting. When there is a fear, there is insecurity. When there is dependency rather than interdependency, the people have to protect themselves. So my research shows fundamentalism is a defense mechanism against insanity. When the people do not know how to make meaning, live their life, they resort to a very narrow view of the world. They try to define it. They try to rationalize it. On the other hand, we have found out that religious systems that help you to be outward looking, the system that helps you to connect with others, the systems that helps you not to define others based on your own expectation, those actually preach fundamentals. What to do about it? I will state some principles and then we open it to question and answer. Before I do that, I summarize. When you do not allow yourself to be a diverse thinker, means critical thinker, means question everything, not to undermine, but to find the truth. You become less fundamentalist. See with your own eyes, not with the eyes of others. Not that you don't trust others, but you owe it to yourself to see it yourself. Because if you do not respect yourself, you will develop dependency. And dependency creates despair, creates hopelessness, creates depression, and creates fundamentalism. See with your own eye, hear with your ear, and understand judgment with its difference with prejudging. Fundamentalists prejudge. The people who uphold fundamentals judge fairly. Do you see how close it is? You, when you get up in the morning, you judge. Don't you? I take this way or that way. This is why you have that GPS. GPS gives you info for you to decide. Baha'u'llah hidden words. Number 2. It says, the beloved of all things in my sight is justice. What is it? It says that means you shall see with your own eyes, not with the eyes of thy neighbor. You hear with your own ear. No, honey, I investigated it. You just sign here. Oh, really? You don't trust me, honey? I have worked so hard. I investigated this. Baha'u'llah. He says, it's true, you have investigated. It's very good. Why do you deprive me from investigation? See, fundamental versus fundamentalist. This is why majority of these love stories that you see is a shallow story of interdependency and sick relationships. This is why trust means freedom. You are free. Why? If Jean-Paul Sartre was sitting here, he said, you are condemned to be free. That means freedom exists. Baha'u'llah, we have created you to be the manifestation of free will. Why? Because then you cannot blame anybody else but yourself. Why? Because if you blame somebody else, you just became further and further from the truth. You see how fundamentalism comes in real world? Another sign of not being a fundamentalist. Never put human as a means. Always consider it as an end. Everything that you believe is a means. Fundamentalist uses human as a means and the belief system as an end. This is why jihadi movements comes in. And in order to satisfy myself, I am dying in the path of God. Which God? What God allows you to take away somebody else's life because of your twisted belief system? Twisted? Yes. Why? Because no one is allowed to use his belief system to give or take away the choice for living or dying. Do you see how simple this is? This is why Baha'u'llah, he says, the beginning, the center, the end of my revelation is oneness of humankind. Shoghi Effendi, he says that means religion is a means, not the end. Abdul Wahab was. If religion causes pain and calamity, not having religion you're aware of. Do you see how the fundamentalists and fundamentals please pay attention? Abdul Wahab is a religious person. What does religion to Abdul Wahab mean? Religio, to reunite. We are already separated. We get reunited. But we are not united by our different religions. We get united based on the purpose of those religions. Do you see how the fundamentals and fundamentalists? Fundamentalists do things mechanically. God said it. Yes, sir. The person who upholds fundamental, he says, this act is a symbolic expression to something which is higher. I am fasting. Yes, you are fasting. Very good. So you are fasting, and he is fasting. And then suddenly he has to take his medication. You say, did you take it before the fasting starts? Oh, no. About 2 minutes late. Well, no good. You are so bad. God, and the poor guy now has not taken his medication. Now he has a pressure of God chastises him. These are called fundamentalism. Fundamentals means, do you know what? I do my best to do it, but there are some exceptions. If I understand the exception, if God doesn't understand, something is goofy with my definition of God. It doesn't say, it is goofy with God, my definition of God. Do you see the difference between fundamentals and fundamentals? Okay, so what do you do? We are supposed to fast 19 days, or if you are Muslim, 30 days, if you are a Jew, 40 days. Now, which one is better? Well, if you are a Baha'i, 19 days is good, and then you rationalize it. Baha'u'llah. Well, you know, yes, fasting is important, yes. But don't forget, Habibullah, Pookie. It is a pointer. What? Pointer to what? He says, see, please pay attention to fundamentalists versus fundamental. Some people fast all of their lives. Not a single moment is accepted. Some people never fast physically, but they are considered the people of the fast in all the worlds of God. The Persians have an expression, if you read that verse of Baha'u'llah, it seems that every fasting that you get, it might be shakdar. Because you do not know whether it is accepted or not. Baha'u'llah, he says, what we mean is that do not get attached to the laws, but forget the spirit of the law. The purpose of fasting, Habib, is that all-knowing, all-wise tells Habibullah, see if you chose, you could avoid sleeping, drinking, eating, see, physical thing. So Habibullah, Pookie, get it. If you choose, you also can live a righteous life. You cannot lie if you choose. You cannot cheat if you choose. He says there is a purpose of fasting. This is why Abdullah says fundamentalist looks at it mechanically, becomes the victim of the law. Fundamentals uses as the law as a means to freedom. Please pay attention. Fundamentalist looks at the law as the one that wants to constrain him. The person who believes in fundamentals, he says, laws are the means to live it free. I give you an example and then you can ask your question. Baha'u'llah in Ardas, he says some people want freedom. He says that thing that you call freedom, animals have it already. And then this is what he says. Liberty, an elevated word for freedom, is in obedience to my commandment. My is capital M, doesn't mean means universal law. He says, when you know the law, you understand the law, you abide by it intrinsically, with radiant acquiescence, you become free. Please pay attention. What did he say? He said, oh no, don't leave home without him. But you have to understand him. Understand him means recognition. Understand him doesn't mean I believe in him. If you don't believe in him, believe in him. It doesn't matter to him. Fundamentalist wants to believe. The person who follows fundamental, he says, what does that belief does to me in order to be a better human being? Fundamentalist cares about joining. The person who follows fundamental believes in transformation. Transform me means go beyond my limit. Do you see that? Are you with me? So, fundamentalism in the Baha'i faith could exist, of course, because as we said, it's how you look. Baha'u'llah has some messages. He says, no matter what you believe, if your belief causes you to be separated from another human being, you are a fundamentalist. Look at your own life. You do not need to disclose it here. Are you a lonely person? Do you live in a home or just you live in a house? Do you really have friends every day? If you don't, why you don't? Why you do not have friends? You want to tell me you cannot connect to anybody? Why not? See, the person who believes fundamental asked this question. The person who is fundamentalist, everybody else is bad, I haven't found anybody to understand me. Oh really? You want to tell me nobody understands you? So and then psychologist tells you, do you even understand yourself? So measurement for avoiding fundamentalism starts with examining our own life personally, our thinking, our behavior, the effect of our behavior. When you accept somebody else as a human being, not whether he's a Baha'i or he's a Christian, he's a human being. You're following fundamental. When you make a choice about helping someone, you make decision based on values of humanity, not race, gender. Not because he's a Jew or a Baha'i. When you also value the life of animal, vegetable, as you value the life of human, you are following fundamentals. When you are not extremist in one way, and you are very not concerned in other way, you are too extreme of fundamentalism. So as you can see, it's a process. Baha'u'llah, I have brought it in my book, he says, never think you made it. This is that creates fundamentalism. I made it. I am free. I am saved. I am saved. I'm chosen one. It is familiar, no? I believe in Jesus. Jesus saved me. Oh, really? saved you, so why are you in this mess? How many divorces you have had? Well, 3 so far. What happened? Well, I was a Jew that time. Now I am a Christian, I'm saved. Well, you are saved. How about your wife? Is this get one free, or how does it go? Baha'u'llah, Shukri Effendi, he says, get it right, Habib Puki. Bring thyself to account each day. Yesterday you were a Baha'i. What does Baha'i mean? Baha'u'llah, what is Baha'i? What does Baha'i mean, sir? Baha'i means the follower of Baha'u'llah. Baha'u'llah says Baha'i means embodiment of human virtues. See the definition between fundamentalists and Baha'u'llah is just a pointer to that value system. We do not worship Baha'u'llah. Fundamentalists worship the messenger. The people who follow fundamental, they value the message. They consider messenger like a postman. When the postman comes, you start worshiping him. Thank you very much. It doesn't matter what you brought for me, even if somebody else has made it. You don't care about the messenger. You are just thankful that he brings the message. But the message is very important. This is why you remain Jew regardless. You remain Muslim regardless. And hopefully you do not remain Baha'i regardless. No. The person who believes in fundamental, he says, my tomorrow should be better than today. Muhammad was good, but it was good for the appointed time. Bob was good for the appointed time. Why? Because the purpose is not to worship Bob or Muhammad. The purpose was transformation. Do you see the difference between fundamentalist and fundamental? The last but not the least, Shukri Effendi. It says the person who is upright thinks about becoming. Fundamentalist is concerned about being. I'm a Baha'i. Oh, really? What do you mean? Am I a Baha'i or I'm trying to become a Baha'i? What is Baha'i? A follower of Baha'u'llah. But that is, really, if you follow Baha'u'llah, is all done? Really? You want to tell me that if I accept Moses, I'm done? Is it a club? It is a congregation, or it is a chance for transformation? Why Baha'u'llah says this religion doesn't need one follower to prove its validity? God forbid. I want to bring others in. Fundamentalists. If you bring others in, then we have more people. Do you see that? Fundamentalist looks at quantity. The person who follows fundamentals looks at quality. Fundamentalist, he says quantity matters, but only matters in the transitory world. This is why Baha'u'llah and Bob in his last book, he says, I have said many things to you, I have revealed a lot of laws, do's, don'ts. He says, I only have said all these things because I want you to wear one clothes, labas. That is a dress of a humanism. And son, He says if you wear that dress, you show own love to your own self, and you will see that loving yourself is an extension of loving others. Loving others is an extension of loving God. You just want to be a lover, researcher. You never want to become beloved. Beloved is always greater than you. This is why you have 7 valleys. Some people look at it as a linear. Some people look at it as a process. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are comfortable with yourself, and you know your comfort is intrinsically related to the comfort of the world, you are close to fundamentals. When I say you are comfortable with yourself, that means your belief system, your feelings, your behavior are in line with oneness of humanity. Because if it is not, you are living a virtual world. And if you are a virtual reality world, you become delusional and you become fundamentalist. So this is why I believe anything that we do, we have to always consider other human beings, especially those who we do not know, we never have met, as the object of our life. We try day by day to get out of our shells, to connect with others, to share, but with a pure intention. Our sharing doesn't mean we know better, they don't know. These are fundamentalist perspective. And at the end, fundamentals guarantee happiness. Fundamentalism guarantees separation. And thank you very much for your attention. If you have any question, ask.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Isn't that subjective? Let me explain. The guy who is fundamentalist, let's say Wahhabist in Saudi Arabia, or a priest who lives in Vatican, or a Catholic who lives in Philippines, they all believe in fundamentals of Christianity or Islam or maybe Baha'i faith or so on and so forth. So this is subjective and depending upon many, many variables. If I'm a Wahhabist and live in, let's say, Mecca, and move to Paris or move to Boston, best universities up there, and start to associate with academics. So my degree of fundamentalism may change. So it becomes variable and becomes subjective. So where do I stand?
See, I think you raised a question and also you posed an alternative answer. We are subjective by inheritance, by environment, by our educational system. So we have a tendency to see security on sameness.
Opportunist.
What is that?
Opportunity. Opportunist.
Opportunist is good and bad, the term.
It's the nature of human being.
That's right. I use the opportunity to better myself, better my environment, better the world. I am opportunist if I use the same opportunity to sacrifice everybody else to gain personal interest. As you can see, what I showed tonight, these are not a definite terms. They are very close. But look at Baha'u'llah to address that. Associate with the people of all religion. In another tablet, associate with the people of all world. Do you know what happens? When you associate, you actually can easily, after a while, distinguish your fundamentalism practices from that which is fundamental. When you come from New Delhi to Boston or to Paris, you will realize that they may be more materially modernized. But true modernity is not in a materialism. They are also human. The skin of their colors may be different. The way that they think might be different. So fundamental is, I choose that way which joins all of us, not separates us. Fundamentals appreciates diversity, but holds to the core values. Values, not beliefs. Values are different from beliefs. We are all subjective. Reality is objective. This is why Jesus says, the goal is to make earth to become a mirror of heaven. What is in the heaven to come on earth. Isn't that right? What is in heaven? Have you been in heaven? You live in heaven, it looks like. What is heaven? The poor fundamentalist, literalist, by the way. Fundamentalist has another distinctive feature. Takes everything literal. Is it really heaven? Is there some place as heaven? Where is that? Have you been there? After I die, I'm going to go either to heaven or to hell. But if somebody tells you that thinking itself puts you in the hell, then what do you say? Heaven and hell is not a place, it's a condition. See, the person who is fundamentalist thinks heaven and hell is a place. After I die, I'm going to meet Jesus. Oh, really? Why you don't meet him here? And what do you mean meet him here? He is not here anymore. If he is not here, then by definition, he is not there. Because here and there are two contingent realms. And Jesus, his body was contingent, but his reality, which was Christ, was above dimension. Do you see the difference between fundamental and fundamental? And after I die, I go and meet Baha'u'llah. Which Baha'u'llah? See, you have to be willing to ask questions about this belief system. I'm going to meet Baha'u'llah, and even, see, this is across all the religions, don't think one religion. After I die, Parviz always tells me, Habib, after you die, you go and meet Satan, because he's dead. And then, how about my mommy? You meet your mommy, your grandma, and then you really, it seems, Parviz, the way you say it, next world is like this room. They are all gathered there. Do you see how belittled this thinking is? They made a spiritual reality to be a physical reality. They still talk about separation. They don't like separation. That is what the point is. But Baha'u'llah, look at it. I am with you at all time and under all conditions. So what does that mean? This is why he even doesn't allow suicide. Why do not allow suicide? I'm fed up with this world. I want to go to the next world. Oh, really? Bob, Ali. Hey, buddy, all the worlds that you imagine is around this world. This world is the basis for the next world. What is the next world? He says, I cannot define it. Why? Because if I define it, then it is not a next world. But you have to believe in the next world, although you cannot define it. See, that's a fundamentalist. Fundamentalist wants everything to be defined. The person who believes in fundamental, he says, give me the vision, let me strive for it. And besides, do you really believe in death? Fundamentalist believes in life and death. The person who believes in fundamental, he says, I shall never die. Because even I may be alive, but I'm a moving dead. Baha'u'llah. He says, the person who does not produce anything useful is like a dead. And he even continues, he says, but the deads are more worthy, Habibullah, than you. What is he trying to tell me? Don't think linear. So, Abdul Wahab, somebody comes to him, he says, I am afraid for I'm dying, what should I do? Abdul Wahab, very simple. Please do something that you shall never die. Somebody else comes with the dog. I love this dog, Abdul Wahab. Would I have the dog? Abdul Wahab, of course, if you need it, you will have it. See how he answers it. He looks at the fundamentalist, literalist, materialist, but his aim is to bring it to another level. This is what is called education. Baha'i faith believes, strongly believes, the root of the fundamentalism is ignorance. The only way to get rid of fundamentalist structure is to educate people. Baha'i faith believes in a holistic education, not only on a confined way of looking at things. Baha'i faith believes in a harmony between science and religion, to the point that if the science and religion disagree, you have to leave the religion because it is all ideals. Science is the life. Religion is what to be. Science tells you how to get there. You see all of these things. So it's okay that Wahhabi, Christian, Baha'is, they see the world subjectively because they come from different backgrounds. But they come together, they are open-hearted, open-minded, they learn from each other. And remember, fundamentalism is not something that goes with one generation. It can be a trans-generational impact. I should live life that my son becomes less fundamentalist than me, and he lives less fundamentalist. Okay, next.
May I ask another question? If there is
Sure,
another
sure.
question? What's the difference between Baha'u'llah, Abdul Baha, or Christ, and somebody like Sadi? or Marcus Aurelius, Stoicism?
See, it's a very good question. Very.
These are all kind of storytellers.
That's right.
If you go to Homer,
It is actually
these are all storytellers.
all, please pay attention. I don't know whether it is at the end of the night, you are half sleepy, you want to go to Saturday night, discos are open until 2. Fundamentalist is a follower and worshipper of the kingdom of names. Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, Mirza Hussain Ali. Fundamentalism, I said, is based on ignorance, right? Abdul Wahab was some answer question. See how does he answer. He says the people who are lovers and enlightened, they follow the light. The people who are ignorant, they follow the center, the mirror in which the light appears. جاهلان عاشق برجن، عاقلان عاشق شمس. And then he says, for instance, Burj Ibrahimi, the satellite of Ibrahim, satellite of Moses, satellite of Jesus. These are all just satellites, for God's sake. When you follow satellites, you believe in finality, you believe this is the only way, my way or a highway. Then you say, why out of board and animosity? Well, if your way or a highway, my way is not your way. So as you can see, Abdul Wahab, Baha'u'llah that I know, Mirza, he wants to take away all the attention from his personage. He wants us to concentrate on Baha'u'llah. Baha'u'llah means glory of God. Baha'u'llah means that eternal beauty. This is why one of the titles is Blessed Beauty, Ancient Beauty. How can ancient beauty be Mirza Hussain Ali? If it is Mirza Hussain Ali, then it is not ancient anymore. This is why we as a Baha'i are responsible to examine our understanding of these terminologies. That we would not be a follower of Baha'u'llah, but actually we hold the same fundamentalist structures. So, to me, if you follow the reality of Moses, you would have accepted Jesus. This is what he says. If you have known Moses, you have believed in me. But Moses was a very chubby man. You are a very skinny man. Muhammad, I am the same one. I am Moses. I am Jesus. Bob, I am Moses, Jesus, Muhammad. What do you mean? You are from Shiraz, buddy. You like Salat Shirazi, Muhammad like Tabuli. This is where the fundamentalism comes. I want to say this, but I hope the people who hear me in these videos, you are here. Do you know what is the root of fundamentalism? You want to make everything materialism. Materialism is the root of fundamentalism. You even make religion to become materialistic. Baha'u'llah, my Baha'u'llah. Baha'u'llah is an energy. Baha'u'llah is a reality. I connect to it. He connects to it. she connects to it, even if he doesn't believe in it. Do we have that understanding? Do you have that understanding as a Baha'i, that whosoever you meet, you say he is potentially a glory? Doesn't he say in Loh Maqsood, consider man a mind full of gems? That means nobody is excluded. Get away from these stories, like you said. Many are called, few are chosen. Really, it makes you feel good. Who chooses you? I have a news for you. Fundamentalists want somebody else to choose him. The people who believe in fundamentals, they make their own choice. Do you see the difference? Because when you make your own choice, even if you make a mistake, it's okay. You learn from it. Do you see that? Fundamentalists either blames or becomes victim. Fundamentalist is either passive or it is aggressive. The person who believes in fundamental becomes assertive. Do you see the difference? They both follow the same religion. They both read the same scripture. Why is it that they get subjectively two different impressions? Shoghi Effendi has an answer. He says to the Baha'is, for every Baha'i book, read some non-Baha'i books. Why? We are out looking. You tell people, let your vision be bold, embracing. How come you only confined to here? Fundamentalist doesn't like that. Do you know fundamentalists? I show it in my book. They only like that you go to the doctor. You say, you just tell me what I do, please. Don't explain what is my fault. I just listen to what you do. Fundamentals, he says, no sir, how did you diagnose me? Because sometimes the diagnosis can be deadly if it is wrong diagnosis. The person who follows fundamentals is a partner in decision. Baha'u'llah, take the first step and with the next enter the realm. Jesus, knock, it shall be open. Muhammad, you need to take the step, then you feel the blessings. It simply is a two-way road. God is not going to solve that, buddy, because if He wanted to solve it, He would not allow you to put yourself in this mess. So don't say God did it. That is the biggest insult to a human being, let alone God. This is why Baha'i faith has a term that majority of the people in religions, hopefully Baha'i understand it, hopefully, covenant. Covenant simply doesn't mean I believe in Baha'u'llah, then Abdul Baha, then this. That's okay. Now next. Okay, you believe that. Now your covenant is finished? Nobody ask Baha'u'llah. Covenant means, buddy, you have to do your part. If you do not do your part, you can be my relative, my son, you can be my wife. Doesn't add up to anything. This is what Shoghi Effendi's wife. She was saying, I heard that from her own mouth. He says, one day I said, oh, I am all okay. To Shoghi Effendi. And Shoghi Effendi said, hey, my friend, I have a news for you. Each one of us has one field. You are responsible to grow what you want in that field. The son of Baha'u'llah was responsible for his own action. This is why you see, he has one of his sons goes that way, one of them goes that way. But Baha'u'llah loved them both. This is why Baha'u'llah is always there. Am I there for myself? This is why Baha'u'llah, I ended with this. So beautiful. Everything that I have created for you, and I have created you for your own self. And then he says, challenge is, yourself is not a small s, it is a big S. Universal self. Everybody, everything. Cosmic reality. Thank you very much for everything, and sorry for the very lengthy presentation.
Thank you. It was very useful.
Thank you.
Very good.